All right, so next I would like to introduce Carolyn from the Rocky Mountain Peace and Justice Center to talk about several things that are very, very relevant right now.
Thank you, and thank you for being here. I just want to talk a little bit. How many of you have heard of NAFTA, the North America Free Trade Agreement? So, you know, that was, obviously, you know, that was a very anti-working class document. It was written by the corporate advisors, probably close to 500 at the time. And it had huge effects on the working class. It shut down that and other free trade agreements shut down 60,000 factories in the United States. Over 1 million workers lost their jobs, just as part of a small. That's just a small fraction of the number of people that actually lost their jobs. I wanted to just read you one little very short thing from a man who worked in the Nabisco factory. He was one of 600 people, and that factory was moved to Mexico, you know. So let me just read from that, because I think sometimes we miss the human side of these huge capitalist trade agreements that only benefit the elites in the countries that are involved, the Mexican elites, the U.S. elites, the Canadian elites. The working class loses out. So this was a worker. His name was Michael Smith, and he says, if being outsourced sounds like a painful situation, trust me, it is very much so, and from numerous vantage points. My life, the life of my entire family, and the lives of about 599 other workers at this bakery that has made Nabisco products for over 60 years has changed dramatically since that day. I also wanted to, so, you know, American workers lost millions of jobs, but Mexicans also, Mexican campesinos and Mexican workers were also very negatively affected. What happened is, under NAFTA, the big agribusiness dumped grain, government subsidized corn on Mexico, and of course corn is the standard food of Mexico, and it basically wiped out all the small farmers who depended on growing corn, and so they had to either go to the cities where they landed up working in these factories along the borders called maquiladoras, or many of them landed up immigrating to the United States. So for a lot of immigrants, it's not what they choose, it's what they're forced to do when their economic circumstances are undermined by these trade agreements. Last year, millions of people around the planet working together defeated the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And I imagine many of you here participated in that in some way. But now NAFTA, Donald Trump has talked about renegotiating NAFTA. We really don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we suspect that he wants to renegotiate it in the direction of making it worse, making it more profitable for the big corporations. You know, he said it was for the workers, but what we've seen is the initial talking points or draft of this doesn't indicate that. So the Rocky Mountain Peace and Justice Center is working against NAFTA, and we invite you to work with us. I have some postcards here if anyone is willing to sign one, or else you can go online and sign a petition at replacenafta.org. But also we have an ongoing group that meets every week. If you're interested, you can come talk to me. I also have a sign-up sheet so you'd get all the Peace Center emails. I also just wanted to, when I grew up in the 60s, I actually was born in 1950, so between 1960 and 1970, I was between 10 and 20 years old. And so I worked against the Vietnam War in that time, and I wanted to just do a chant with you. I don't know if you know it, but It's war, what is it good for? So,
Absolutely nothing.
absolutely nothing. So I'm going to say war, what is it good for? And you're going to say
Absolutely nothing.
war, what is it good for?
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 Absolutely nothing.
I think one of the ploys of the capitalist class is to get us to buy into their wars. And generally speaking, the people that get killed in these wars are the working class. And the people who benefit are the weapons manufacturers, Wall Street, the big banks. And so what we've seen recently is a lot of demonization of countries, you know, whether it's China or Russia or Korea or Iran or Iraq, you know. It's to get us to buy into these wars. So we have to be very careful to see this for what it is. It's not about helping the broad majority of people. It's about benefiting a very small number of people at the top who benefit from building weapons, bombs, missiles, all that kind of thing. So I think we need a new anti-war movement. We need a movement to oppose war. And the Rocky Mountain Peace and Justice Center has a group also that's working on that. This Saturday, we're going to be at the corner of Canyon and Broadway from 12 to 1 holding anti-war signs. We invite you to come. I invite you to sign up for our email list, sign a postcard for NAFTA. We can't keep supporting the decimation of people. I just mentioned one other quick thing, which is a lot of immigration is the result of war. What we're seeing in Syria is millions of people fleeing across the border, where a lot of times they're pushed back or not welcome because of war. So we have to, if we want to support immigrants, we also have to fight against wars. Thank you very much.